What's up, everybody? Wasn't planning on being here this evening, but man, ton of shit going on. So whenever there's a lot of shit going on, I'm just gonna do a live stream because sometimes it's too much just to do a damn video, and I don't really have time to do like 4,000 videos, or like 3 or 4 a day or whatever. I'm not golden blue, dude. I don't have that kind of hustle. Because basically I don't make a living doing this shit. So, I actually had to take notes, man. Make sure I hit everything. So first I'm going to start off with the Big Ten expansion piece. The Oregon and Washington to the Big Ten thing, the vetted and cleared thing. I know we already went over that, and I'm going to get to the ACC stuff here in a minute, which is the really big stuff. But keep in mind... All right, so I'm looking, and there's a lot of people just shitting all over the vetted and cleared thing. A lot of people like, well, there's been a ton of schools out there, that have been vetted and cleared by the Big Ten, but never got into the Big Ten, and I'm still waiting on examples. I'm sure there are a few out there, but don't just throw that shit out there without any examples. Now, Jim Williams did put out an example of Maryland. They were vetted and cleared, and it was like 4 or 5 years later that they got into the conference. But this is different realignment. This is a paradigm shift within college football. And don't talk to me about what happened years ago with other realignments. All right, this is consolidation. As I said, it's a paradigm shift. This is so much different than what has gone on before. This is why everyone's really paying attention to this shit. Some people were interested when, Nebraska or Colorado left the Big 12, or, when Arizona joined the Pac-12, or when Maryland joined the Big 10 or Rutgers. But it pales in comparison to what's been going on since Texas and Oklahoma left the Big 12. That's the paradigm shift. That's the difference. And this is just one big slice of realignment that's just going to keep going on for the next several years. The dust isn't going to settle for a while. You might get breaks. You might get 1 or 2, 3 year breaks in it. I'm not saying you won't. But man, this shit's been hot, and it's going to stay hot for a long time. But yeah, the Oregon and Washington going to the Big Ten. Yeah, that's happening. That's what's been confirmed by Brett McMurphy and others now, that yes, they've been vetted and cleared by the Big Ten. That's going to happen. It's going to depend on any kind of deal the Pac-10 gets. It's going to depend on how many schools or what schools, if any schools, leave for the Big 12. Now, I think at least 2 schools from the Pac are going to the Big 12, and I'm talking about, we're going to hear about that before the end of this month. It is already mid-May, and we still don't have a Pac-10 deal. You're not going to have a Pac-10 TV deal, people. It's not happening. There's not one out there that's going to satisfy everybody. It's not there. And Oregon and Washington know they've been vetted. They know they've been cleared. So does everybody else. They're not signing a grant of rights. Period. Nothing. They are not going to cooperate with the Pac-10. They're not. And the Washington president is on the executive committee. All right? She is playing Kliakov and everybody else like a damn fiddle. They are not signing jack shit. All right? They don't care about the conference. They know where their future lies. That's what they're trying to get to. And if you can't see that, then you're an idiot. Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, even Utah. All right, the wind has been blowing enough where they know Oregon and Washington are not going to stay. Even if you were able to get them to sign on to a grant of rights for 5 years, they're going to be gone in 5 years. Because down the line, the Big Ten is going to add them regardless of what happens with the rest of the conference. Because they're not going to expand like Greg Flugar said, it's absolutely correct. They are not going to expand to 20, 22, 24 teams or whatever without more Western expansion. They're not leaving USC and UCLA on that LA island. It's not happening. They're going to have teams with them as travel partners, period, end of story. That's happening. And if teams are going to be leaving, as I said, within weeks, I fully expect that. And if that happens, follow the dominoes. All right, what deal are you going to get when you're losing brands out of the pack? All right, this is why a deal hasn't been reached with NBC yet. NBC's been interested, but they're lowballing the shit out of you. This is why a deal hasn't been done with ESPN, because they're lowballing the shit out of you. This is why they never got anything done with Amazon, because they're lowballing the shit out of you. Why haven't they done anything with Apple? Because they don't want to be mostly streaming. Apple will give you the most money possible, but it's mostly streaming. All right, a couple other things I want to get to, and then I'll get to some comments real quick. Also found out about San Diego State. Apparently there is a bit of a deadline there. July 1st, June 30th, one of those 2 days. If they do not put in that they are leaving for whatever conference to the Mountain West, then their exit fee triples. That's what, at least doubles, but from what I'm hearing, it's tripling. So it's a bit of a deadline. It gets expensive for a small school like San Diego. So there's a decision that needs to be made. Right now, the Pac can't add them because they can't get their own schools paid right now. So they definitely can't pay San Diego. So there's the Big 12. San Diego State is waiting right there. So if you do get 3 of the 4 corners, then there's a decision to be made. Do you go out and get Oregon? Does Oregon State or Washington State, do they blink? Do they like, no, I don't know. We kind of want to stick with Stanford and Cal for some reason. You know, if Utah is blinking, maybe you just go ahead and pick up San Diego State. Can you get money for that? I think you can get Amazon on board to help pay for that. I really do. So, but it's going to be interesting as shit, because that's a for real deadline. That's not one of these stupid ass presidents from from the Pac putting out some false deadline. That's a real deadline. That your exit fee triples. That, I don't know what the exit fee would be. Is it 10 million, 20 million? You know, is it 5 million? But if it triples, you know, for, like I said, for a small school like that, that's a large sum of cash to come up with. That's all I'm saying. Third thing I wanted to hit on before I get to these comments, K-State. This is some good news for the Big 12. K-State has extended or signed Chris Kleiman to a new contract, an 8-year contract. This is great news for the Big 12. The Big 12 need to keep good quality head coaches. This is what K-State just did. K-State's on the come up. They just won the Big 12 conference last year. Would not shock me to see them in the conference championship game again next year. Wouldn't shock me to see them win it. Wouldn't shock me to see them in the 14 playoff next year. Now, a lot's got to go right for them, like it did for TCU. But there's an absolute chance. K-State, to me, is one of the big dog favorites, right along with TCU, to win this conference. The national people will tell you Texas. They say Texas every fucking year. I don't care. It's Kansas State, TCU's conference to lose next year. All right, and outside shot of Texas Tech making some noise. So it ain't just automatically UT's conference to win next year on their last year here. All right, let me get some of these comments real quick. Derek Murray, fire, appreciate it. D. Wayne, wow, good evening. I know I wasn't planning on being here, but like I said, shit's kind of popping off. There's a lot of news, so I wanted to go ahead and hit it instead of making 5 different videos that y'all have to digest and crap out. Dwayne, Big 12 coils. Am I reading that right? Yeah, you said Big 12 coils, get them for half price. Oh, never mind. Big 12 could get them for half price. If you're talking about San Diego State, yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't, that wouldn't be no full share ride. Because at this point, the Pac-10 is not an option for San Diego State at this point. If they can't pay their own schools, they can't pay San Diego. So don't talk to me about Pac-12 expansion. Shit ain't happening. It ain't happening. Hell, like I said, they can't even pay their own guys. Romish Lance. UT better not win or contend for Big 12 championship next year. I'm not saying they can't. They contended for it this year. All right, but I think they were, what, third or fourth? Somewhere in there. I think that's where they'll finish. I think that's a fair assessment. But no, I don't think they'll actually be in the conference championship game. I think every school, the new schools and the old schools, everybody in the Big 12 wants a piece of that UT ass, and they're going to get it. This is going to be one hell of a gauntlet for them and for Oklahoma too. Everybody wants to bury them, and everyone who has one more shot is going to give it everything they got. 316 at feed doubles. I've heard doubles and I've heard triples. I don't know. Either way, that price gets jacked way the hell up to get out of there. Romish Lance, San Diego State is in football, but in everything.